Well, good morning. Here we are, Thursday morning, Cornishman Day, and a fantastic day, isn't it? I mean, it's a very important day today. Of course, we've got the national elections, but even more important than that, we've got the judging for Hale in Bloom. I mean, I've been around in the last couple of days. What fantastic! I just think when the community get together and all the organisations and all and put out all the stops, just get on with it, and it's looking absolutely wonderful. So, as a resident of Hale, I'd like to say, and my wife would like to say, good luck because you all deserve it. We've got another fantastic gold. We are wonderful. So, and town is looking, Ale is looking so marvelous. That's what I got to say. So, and thanks for all the volunteers and all the organisations to do for Hale. It is so important that we keep, the volunteers are so important. Well, everybody's important, but there we are. So good luck today. Now, I'm just got one birthday today. It's my niece, Sam Banks, is her birthday today. So happy birthday to you, um, Sam, on this very special day for Hale. Now, this one's called the Sea Bucca. In and around Lamorna Cove, there may still be seen, mainly during fine weather, sitting on the rocks amid gulls and guillemots, a sea bucca. This sea sprite was always given a wide berth by the local fishermen, who knew that he could bring them bad luck if they ever annoyed him. But they always left him something on the beach when they brought home their catch, and for this he would make sure they always caught enough fish to eat. The bucca was dark and brown, with skin like a conger's eel's, and a tangled mass of seaweed for hair. He was very lonely and always had a mournful expression on his face, like that of a hungry seal. Nobody went near him except the mischievous children, and they were always frightened away by his particular looks, although he was actually kind and gentle and would have loved to talk to them. For he was not always been a bucca. Hundreds of years before that he had been human, indeed. He had been a prince. He had loved a maiden who at first had not returned his love. She had entered a convent where she was kept well out of his reach. The prince had become desperate and paid a witch to change him into a pigeon. Then he flew in and out of the woman's cell. Slowly she grew to love the bird and would nurse it in her bosom. But one day a holy monk who came to the convent to hear confessions found her with a pigeon. She had grown more lovely and contented than ever. Her cheeks were blooming like roses, unlike those of the other nuns, though they all lived only on bread and water. The monk knew this reason for this, and breaking the spell, he changed the pigeon back into a prince. The man now loved the prince dearly, and she would have gone away with him, but the monk cursed him and turned him into a sea bucca, condemning him to keep that form for 1,000 years, or until he could win another woman's love to set him free. So there, swimming in the waves, or lying on the sea in the sea caverns, or sitting on the rocks amid the birds, was Bucca. As long as the fishermen of Lamorna did no harm to him, he helped them, driving fish into their nets and filling their crabs and lobster pots. Then one day Uncle Malthy's Pemberthy took his granddaughter Gwenelo out in a boat with him, and she fell overboard. But Bucca was nearby and held up the child, so that uncle could get her safely on board again. From then on, Bucca saw it that each time Gwenolo went out to sea with her granddad, the old man caught fish after fish and had enough to spare. Malika's luck, the village called it then. This charming girl grew into a handsome woman, and Bucca began to hope that she had hope whom he had saved from the sea would come to love him. But Gwenolo had many admirers among the local boys, and finally she gave her heart to Talek Powell. Talek Powell. A few months later, she could be seen at his home in their little quayside cottage, mending Talek's nets and baiting his long lines in the linhay. But she never went to sea again because of Talek. Like everyone else, believed that it brought evil luck to have a married woman aboard. One evening when Talek was out to sea, Gwendolen was sighing at having so much mending to, and a voice said from below the linhay, "Don't 'ee fret, dear, my dear, I'll be." And in a few minutes Bucca had mended all the nets and baited the hooks. After this he came whenever he pleased, when Talek wasn't there. He always helped Gwendolen in some way, though she only laughed at him for being so soft, as she called it. Certainly it was useless her telling him not to come, for he would change into a seagull or even become invisible. Often he was with her when she didn't know it, filling her mind with thoughts of a handsome prince who loved her. And Gwendolen never suspected that Bucca was really the prince, who wooed her with soft words and gave her sweet kisses. One night Gwendolen had a vivid and marvellous dream in which her prince came to her and led her walking on the shore, telling her stories of ancient battles and fine queens, and the palace of the king, his father. So compelling was this dream that she rose in her sleep, out of bed from beside the sleeping Talek, and followed. She went down to where Talek's boat was moored, cast it off, took the heavy oars, and began to row. Bucca helped her, lifting the blades and parting the sea so the boat travelled fast and easily. When they were a long way out, Gwenello dreamed that her prince changed into a sea bucca, who kneeled before her and imploring her to give him her love. Your prince will truly come if you can only love me. Restore me to my lost estate, and we shall be happy together forever. And Guenelot became full of pity for that poor Bucca. She leaned forward and was about to embrace him when there was a great shout nearby, and other boats came into view. Talek and other fishermen rowing out to them, hallooing. Guenelot awoke from her dream and saw before her only Bucca, with his fishy eyes, his cold body wet and dripping seaweed air, and she gave a scream which made Bucca dive overboard just as the other came rowing up to the boat. That was the nearest Bucker ever got to winning his love. He always still swims off the cove, so they say, and helps to fill the crab pots and nets, but no girl or woman in the district ever goes to sea, for they know that he lured Gwenelol out there that night and frightened her. It seems he must wait another 100 years or more before he can change back into a prince again. Unless, of course, some bolder maiden than usual reads this tale and decides to row out and look for him. And then, well, who knows? Have a nice weekend. Take care.